Okay, now I can see myself. I'm Jay Fidell. This is Agritech in Hawaii. We're talking about aquatourism in Hawaii with eTour International with Richard Xie, I get that right?
Yes.
Who is with Hawaiian Sea Life, which is a local company here in Hawaii. And guess what? My co-host is on the other side of Richard, and that's Liz Xu from the Department of Agriculture of the state of Hawaii. She's an
culture and a livestock specialist.
Yes, thank you. Anyway, so, you know, we've never talked to an ornamentalist before, nor have we talked to an e-tourism or an aquatourism person such as you.
Yes.
So this is very exciting show.
Thank you.
You knew this, Liz.
Yes, yes.
That's why you came down to join in the festivities.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Richard, what actually is aquatourism?
I came up with the idea since about 2006. I have a company called Hawaiian Sea Life since '98.
No relation to Sea Life Park.
No relation to Sea Life Park. So my business is ornamental export. So in about 2006, there's one of my friends who's a tour guide that he called me. He said that he have a truckload of Japanese old ladies that on the way to airport, and he had to kill about an hour and a half. So
perfect.
So he said that, can I stop by your place, and majority of the Japanese like fish, and you want to kind of like hang in our warehouse. I said, well, I'm not suitable to do that, but you know, I'm pretty happy to.
Where's your place?
By the time it was in Hart Street. So, you know, like Milo and Limits. So anyway, there's about 10, 15 Japanese ladies came in, and then so they have a really great time. So they have a great talk with our packers, and by the end of the day, they even ask our packers to take off their shirts and show the muscles with the fish and all kind of stuff. So we said, wow, that seems really eye-opening for me. So and then, so I started to like target to a little bit of the West Coast and the East Coast. It seems like the East Coast is really, you know, like what we're doing. And then 2009, I got the locations in airport area, so Orlando Street. So I turned into make it like a place for the school field trips, local families, and so in the last 5 years, we serviced over 100,000 people.
Excuse me, I must have a hearing problem. Did you say 400,000?
No, 100,000.
Oh, 100,000.
That's still significant.
I still have a hearing problem. Did you say 100,000 people?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of people, Richard.
Yeah. So we service about average 150 schools per year, and in Honolulu it's about 200 schools. So we service like 3/4 of the schools, and so based on the age from kindergarten all the way to 9th grade, 10th grade. So based on the age curriculums, we develop a program. So the kids.
So there are multiple programs.
Yes.
For multiple ages.
Yes. So.
How about old guys?
Well,
you got that too.
Yeah,
okay.
We have that called Aloha Fish Tour. So basically, we turn off all the lights of all the fish tanks. So we have about 20,000 square feet space. So
20,000 square feet. My God.
Yeah. That's almost half an acre.
Yeah.
That's a lot. What building is this in?
Orlando Street. So the end of the.
In Kalihikai.
Oh, actually, very close to airport.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get it out from the airport. So for the adult, you know, for tourists and adult, so what we do, we call it Aloha Fish Tour. So basically, we present to them how the industrial processing of fish. So
you mean like killing the fish?
No. It's that from the babies, how to tell the male, females, and then also how to reproduce.
Okay. We're gonna take a short break.
Okay.
And then we're going to come right back. Richard and Liz, okay?
Yes.
Stay there. Don't go
Okay.
anywhere. This is ThinkTech. We'll be right back. You'll see.
Thanks.
Okay.
My name is Alice Lee Hagan. I host the ThinkTech Hawaii BizEd Spotlight. We talk about fascinating people and interesting issues that affect our island state here in Hawaii. We broadcast every Thursday from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 and on Olelo 54. Make sure you tune in and we'll see you soon. Aloha.
Hello, okay.
Bye,
I'm so
Sachi.
sorry.
Okay, we're back. You knew that.
Yeah.
I told them, like MacArthur, I told them I'd be back, and we're back. Okay, and your mic is better, and I'm happy for that. Okay, so there we are on Ulena Street
Yes.
with this, how many feet? 20,000
Yeah,
feet?
it's about 20,000.
It's big enough to get lost in.
Yeah.
And it's got it organized so it's interesting to people in multiple age groups,
Yes.
from multiple places and orientations.
Yes.
And so I go in there, okay, it's me, just me now, and I say, "Hi, Richard, what's it like for me? What do you show me? What do I see?"
So in the tropical fish industry, and basically our target, who is a hobbyist? The hobbyist market is about 95% males from 25 to 55 years old. This is which is our major buyers. So in this group, in the U.S. market or the European, U.S. market, they more they hands-on. So
Did you
they
say
build it-
European? You have
European.
tours for Europeans
Yes,
too?
we do. We have Germans.
You're world famous then.
Well,
And you're here talking to us. Thank you.
Yes. So like they build a tank themselves, so but they never really go to the production locations that fish, let's say fish from Hawaii, fish from the Philippines, and then they really see how we handle the fish, how the diver handle the fish, how we reproduce the fish, producing the fish, that kind of stuff. So they kind of from their end, they see beautiful fish swimming at the home, but they never really know how we do that.
Right.
So like bags, oxygens, pH.
These are big
salinity.
aquaria. Notice it's not aquarium in the plural, it's aquaria.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay,
It's not aquaria.
that's good to know.
That's something else.
Okay.
Okay, so big tanks.
No, we have a lot of tanks. We have about closer to 80,000 gallons.
80,000
The volume of the...
total volume for
Yeah.
all the
Water,
tanks.
yeah.
80,000. Numbers
Yeah.
are big.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Okay, so and then you have places that I can walk, and you're going to show me. Somebody's going to actually give me a tour around all these tanks.
Yeah, we
Show me
we
what's
have
going
all
on
the
in each tank.
questions, and then like the name of the fish, like so you have to figure out yourself. So basically, it's like a the hunting tour. So you have to figure out a lot of stuff for yourself. By the end of the tour,
Give me a book.
No, we have some.
Can I study in advance to be
pictures,
prepared?
That kind of stuff.
I mean, do you give me a test at the end?
Yes,
You do?
We do.
Wow!
We do. Yeah. So for younger age, we do differently. Like for the preschool, kindergarten, we do the life cycle of the fish. So from all the baby all the way to adult, like color changes, size changes.
Take me through the tanks, and in each tank, there's a different part of the life cycle, is that it?
Yeah.
And then you're moving them from one tank to the other,
Yeah.
and you're showing me how this works from tank to tank, and then
Yeah.
finally, in the last tank, they're ready for market, so to speak.
Yes, yes. And then now we saying that, so we tested for the 5 years, and we do pretty well in locally. We work with YMCA, work with Kamana kids, a lot of schools, and so now we kind of go one step further. So I just signed a contract with elong.com, which is
A big
Chinese
travel
Expedia.
company.
But how do you spell it?
Elong. E-L-O-N-G.
No relation to the drugstore?
No,
They
no.
are Expedia own 56%
Really?
of the
And what do they do?
So they are the hotels, airfare.
Yeah, just
it's
like
a
Expedia
B2C,
here.
Yeah, websites in China. So now we partner with them for the aquatourism in Hawaii, and also we also promote our Hawaiian cultures. So we have groups. Right now we signed a couple groups for New Year's, Chinese New Year's. We getting all the family with the kids, because in China, normally the father is pretty busy. So average, they say they can only meet with the dad. It's about 2 hours per week. So
Really?
He's working so hard.
we're working so hard.
Really?
So yes, very crazy. Crazy lifestyle. So
It'll change.
so we provide that opportunity is that the father come with the kids to Hawaii for 7 days. So 2 days with us, we do reef walk, we do all the fishing, building tanks together, hands-on, which is for Chinese they never really do any hands-on stuff. And then one day we're planning to work with ocean institutes, so to do breedings, understand how
See the
breeding works.
laboratory and all that.
Yes, that kind of stuff. And then 1 or 2 days with the Hawaiian culture, like how the luau's and all the poi, how.
So you take them through 7 days.
Yes, we
Yes.
provide that is that we're seeing that a lot of companies doing differently, like of course like people doing marriage, promote marriage, Waikiki, shopping, all the different angles of promoting Hawaii, because I'm in the aquaculture industry, so I'm promoting it totally differently, because I was saying that it's a great memory, because majority of the mainlanders, they never really see the fish in their life.
No.
So, and now suddenly when they come here, before a lot of people can only say that, oh, I like that red fish, I like that yellow fish. But now we can tell them the name, scientific name, how to tell the male, how to tell the female. So for example, like Fame Angel, which is a very good example. They produce daily. We tell them the truth that they can produce 4 to 5 years periods. Every single day they lay eggs for 1,500 to 2,000 per day at the sunset. So yellow tang, which is our biggest treasure.
So you come and watch it.
Yeah.
See them do this.
Yeah. So they produce 20,000 eggs each. Hatchery. So this is a really good information.
This is great for photographs. A lot of people must take a lot of pictures.
Yes, we do. We take them to the beach for we're similar to the Central Park concept. There's one person doing that for the last 30 years in Central Park. Is that they take the people inside and naming all the trees. So what we do is that we take the tourists around the beach, facing the shallow water, and whatever animal they see, we told them the habits, what kind of food they eat, what's the name, and then they kind of learn from there.
That's fabulous. And I mean, you haven't been doing this for how many years? 8 years now, but you've been working up to it, right?
Yes. It
And
takes a
this
while.
is a project,
It takes a while to, I have this concept in 2006, 2007. I wrote a business plan, participate in the UH business plan competition with a semi-finalist. But I think that year, all the semi-finalists, I'm the only guys really take the project to.
Good for you.
reality.
That's really,
Yeah.
that really says something. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So I got an idea for you, Richard.
Yes.
All these people want to get married in Hawaii. Take them into, the aquarium building, the 2,000 feet. No, what is it, 5,000 feet?
Many tanks.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a
A
one
lot
big
of,
tank.
Not a
Yeah.
one big tank.
Yeah.
A lot of.
And
Yeah.
set them up in front of your biggest tank, and have them get married right there. Maybe just as the fish are laying the eggs.
So what we try to do is that we say that because Hawaii is different. So even right now we try to work with Sea Life Park together. What we feel is that we try to tell the story behind the fish. Not
The cultural story or the
cultural
scientific
story, and also all the details. So because in Hawaii we don't have the facility, we don't have the money as the Atlantis aquarium, like a SeaWorld. They bring in all the big whales, killer whales, dolphins, and all the big animals. I do some consultations for Chinese public aquariums, you know, like the first thing they do is, oh, I want polar bear. So I want, you know, penguins. You know, so that's in their mind. So because they're saying that without those mammals and big animals, it doesn't call a public aquarium. But what I see is totally different because when you get to the details behind the fish, you fully understand why this world created by, you know, the name of coral, why they live like that, why they, you know.
So you're breeding them from little tiny keiki then?
No, we do. I also work with European unions for. I got funding from them to do restock the reef. We did a project in Philippines. We did projects in Tahiti's, Christmas Islands, Marshall Islands.
Restock the reef with these small ornamentals.
Yes. What we do is that we use some equipment to collect the post larvae in the oceans.
Yeah.
And then we build sea cages on a lagoon. So we put the post larvae on this,
let them grow a little bit.
Grow to about month and a half. So if the fish is good for the ornamental trade, so we take it to Hawaii for, you know, like we send it to Japan or, you know, like that kind of country. But if it's good for the local reef, you know, rebuild the reef, then we release back to the oceans.
So you're actually improving the population in that area.
Yes, yes.
But you know, I remember reading that you know, there was a concern about ornamental fish,
Yes.
and that not you, but the industry was taking them out of the reef areas,
Yes.
and the reefs then were losing them, and so there was a scarcity, a resulting scarcity in some places. I don't know if that's Hawaii, but in some places, and so ornamental fish in the world are under attack.
Yes.
Is that happening here? Is there anything, you know, that we need to know about that?
Yes, in Philippines is a big problem. You know, that is the reason that since 2007, you know, I got funding to helping the Philippines and Bohol Islands in the middle part of Philippines. That because they fishing out the area. You know, like, cause actually fish is actually we call it, they can repopulate it. So it's just like if you need to manage, you have to have a good system to balance the reef. So you don't want too many old fish in the because they're very territorial. So if you keep too many big old fish, they're just eating the baby fish. So it's okay to take some of the adult fish out, you know, to let the baby grow. But it's just like you have to manage like you know, at least they do it. So how to manage it well. Actually, in the last 10 years, Hawaii is doing a really good job. You know, of course, you know, here because of law regulation, we cannot do restock the reef, that kind of projects.
We cannot restock the reefs
in Hawaii.
It's too dangerous, they think.
No, because after you take the fish out of the oceans, in Hawaii's laws, you cannot put it back to the ocean because they worry about the disease.
Very conservative, I think.
Conservative. But in other part of the world, and basically Hawaii is one of the exceptions.
Yeah.
You know, in other part of the world, even, you know, that is a very common practice to helping repopulate the
That's too bad, because then you don't have a chance to repopulate here. On the other hand, so that means that when you take your tourists walking, you're just looking, because you're not actively doing anything on the reefs. You know, either to take them out or put them in.
Actually, in Hawaii,
am I right about that?
Yes. You know, like but in Hawaii, the issue is that if you catch, I think it's 5 fish per day, you don't need any permits. But a lot of the times that because they don't have any knowledge, so they put 5 fish in the tank with one small bucket, basically they kill themselves. Ammonia burns and everything, they kill
Really? Oh, too bad.
Yeah. So I think that is more for us is that we provide education channels for people to fully understand. You know, in Hawaii, like this year, we have outstanding fish populations, fish everywhere. So, you know, yellow tang, nasal tangs, everywhere. There's so many fish.
Thank you, Liz, for introducing me to Richard here.
Welcome.
This is fabulous.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break. And actually, when we come back from the break, we're going to focus on education a little bit, so that Liz can talk about her program that's coming up soon.
Yes.
Okay, but for now, we're going to say, we'll take a break. This is Agritech in Hawaii. We're talking about aquatourism in Hawaii, and eTour International, that's your company that does that?
Yes.
And this is Richard Xie
Yes.
of Hawaiian Sea Life, and Liz Xu, my co-host from the Department of Agriculture, Aquaculture branch.
Yes, you can call that.
Okay. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Donna Blanchard. I'm the host of Center Stage here on the ThinkTech Digital Series. The show is every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and I want you to watch this show because I think that when we talk with artists on the show about what they do, how they do it, and most importantly, why they do it, I believe that it resonates within each of us and we find something inside of ourselves that brings us closer to all of humanity. That's what arts are there to do, and that's what I'm here to do on this show. That's Center Stage. It's on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 o'clock. I hope to see you there.
We're live. We're back. We're live. We're here on Agritech in Hawaii, which we play 4 to 5 every Monday, every other Monday.
Every other Monday.
Every other Monday. And our co-host is Liz Xu from the Department of Agriculture. And we have as our special guest today Richard Xie. He's from Hawaiian Sea Life, and he does aquatourism in Hawaii with ornamental fish. The name of that company is eTour International. But before we return to a number of questions that I have about your operation, okay, Liz, you had a program that you wanted to talk about, and we're all waiting.
Yes, DOA will host 5 workshops on 5 neighbor islands, including Oahu, Aquaponics workshop. So the content of the workshop include aquaponic farm operations in Hawaii and the state of their profitability, and the market acceptance of aquaponic products, food safety, what are the hot products to grow and sell, packaging and branding, things like this. So we want to share with the farmers and people who are interested in doing aquaponics in the future our findings after my interviews with the major food wholesalers after we did the aquaponic products conference. So these workshops will be held in November on 5 islands. So regarding the date, time, and the location, please check back with me because we need to know how many people will register. Then we will choose a location that's ideal. So my information, my number is 483-7104, and this is my email address, liz.j.xu@hawaii.gov. Thank you.
Good, excellent, nice
Okay.
job.
Thanks.
So will there be food there?
Maybe. I will ask our funding partner, USDA, to see if they allow us to buy some food or not.
Okay, maybe I can come and see you that day.
Sure.
That'd be fun.
Sure.
Or one of those days, not
Yes,
all of them.
yeah.
Back to the aqua. This is so interesting, Richard. Really, once you could do this here, in the lap of Oahu, which is so, it's kind of an unlikely thing. So, what did you study to make yourself ready for this fantastic adventure?
My background is I got my bachelor degree in China, international business. I came here from graduate from Hawaii Pacific University for MBA program. I have zero background on
See, it doesn't really matter,
But my dad is a biology professor, but he's in the plant side. So I guess when I grew up, I had a little bit of knowledge about what biology means. It's in the blood.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. I mean, really, it just strikes me from an entrepreneurial point of view. You found a niche. It was a wide open track for you, and you seized the day, and there you go. And now I know it's going to happen. You're going to expand this thing. They're going to be. Are you already selling fish to the tourists who come through?
Actually, we export to 27 countries.
27 countries. So here I am thinking of country number 1. He's 27 countries ahead of me.
No, this is my career. I did it for 16, 17 years already. So the first 10 years I really focused on the industrial part. So the last 5, 6 years I'm getting to the tour part, getting to how to promote this concept. What I'm thinking, I'm 40 something, so I feel that I need to do something for the community, not just taking, and so you have to let the next generation, because I see my daughters, she's 15, their age, the iPads, iPhones, games, everything is, digital. But they never really have any hands-on, that much chances to hands-on.
With the environment, with the natural world.
Yeah, like us, when we grow up, we play with the fox, we play with the fish, we play with everything, like all the animals. But then the way you grow up like that, you kind of love, you have to love, because there's another life there.
Yes.
But if if you grow up with all this digital world, you don't feel it. Because you kill a cat.
It's absolutely true. You're making a really important point.
Yeah, so when you see the animal, activists, like who protect the Greenpeace, all those guys, the studies say 90% of them have animals at home when they was kids. They either have cat, dog, fish, everything. Without that, they cannot be, what they have. So what I'm thinking is that, especially for futures and especially for the local communities, is that we don't want to lose the root, because fishing, understand how to protect the environment is part of the life in Hawaii. So we have to do it, and at the same time, it's considered is one of the culture, Hawaii culture, we need to export to especially
other
like
regions,
China. Like, because I do a lot of business in China, and like in China, they never really see that as a life. They never consider that. A lot of them they come to Hawaii, beach, full of girls, and shopping. That's pretty much it. But when I started to open the door for them, like they started to understand how fun is fishing, how fun is raising a fish, and how fun to have a tank at home that they finally doesn't need to ask the maid to tell them what's the name of the fish. So I think that's a really
Okay, I love this. So when you walk them around, the likelihood is they don't have fish at home, but you can try to help them understand.
Yes.
And buy into the whole notion of having life around you,
yes,
and getting a fish tank.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna ship them a fish tank,
Yeah.
and you're gonna ship them fish.
Oh no, we sell to the distributor.
And I see. So they don't buy directly from you.
They don't buy direct from you. But the thing is that we help our buyers to build a broad, interest in the local. That's a win-win situation.
Sure, everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
And you don't have to fulfill, which is hard, shipping fish.
Yeah. For me, it's just like, it's part of the Hawaii, so you present it to the world, this part of the, memory they should bring back to the home country.
So is Alibaba involved in any of this?
I wish.
They can sell fish.
Yeah.
So then it strikes me too that, the way, socially, the way China has stood up in the last, 10, 15 years, that the middle class is much bigger now. People are a worldview now that they maybe didn't have before. And maybe all of a sudden the idea of raising fish, having an aquarium at home, taking care of them, seeing them live and grow and prosper and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trip that a lot of people would like to have.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had it before,
Yes.
but they're interested now, and you're right there. You're right there, helping them understand this new concept of having fish or pets at home. Yeah.
I grew up in that country. I think that the competition is so heavy when kids, and then in our memory, everything is you have to, because after the examinations, the name is on a big billboard.
Yes.
You're at the top
10 or top 20,
or you're the last.
or the
10.
last one.
So it's very
The
competitive.
guy Ma,
Yeah.
just Alibaba, he flunked twice.
He didn't
College
go to the
exams.
best school. Yeah.
And right.
I went to the very top 10 school in China, but it doesn't come out to be that good.
What city are you from?
I'm from Guangzhou.
Guangzhou.
Yeah.
And what school did you go to?
Zhongshan University.
Okay.
One of the top 10.
Zhongshan.
Which is in Guangzhou or somewhere else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
It's
right.
a Sun Yat-sen,
Yeah.
which is
Yep.
Ah,
He
okay.
was
So
from
you
here.
have
Yeah.
Roots.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. Is that the last 10, 15 years that the whole country become chasing money. Like forget about what socialism, capitalism. There's no reason. It's moneyism. So the whole
Moneyism.
yeah. So the whole
It's true. It's
You
true.
heard it here on ThinkTech. It's moneyism.
Yeah. So the
It's
whole
very
country,
true.
Philosophy.
that is going that route. But I see this is a very dangerous game because everybody's what they competing is that do I have a same LV bags as you do?
True.
And like, do
Consumer
I-
competition.
Yes, and then do I have the new version of the Hans bags, like that kind of stuff. So I think the life should be a little bit slower down, like enjoy what you have, around you. You can't be just sit there looking the fish and enjoy it, and then finally, I know the name of that. I know what it's from. I know, this village that produce the fish, that is coming from here, and I know the fishermen in this town. I can be friend with them. That's a totally different lifestyle. I don't have any LV bags. I don't have anything that really distinguish myself from my
You
peers.
fish at home.
No, not me. This question I have a million people ask me,
Yeah.
but I told them, I said, if I, in my warehouse, I seeing them like 15, 16 hours per day. Do you want me to see them again in my home?
What I was going to say, and you might want to use this later, is if I had them at home, then it would be unfair. I'd be paying more attention to the ones at home than the ones in the warehouse, and they would be mad at me for not paying as much attention to them.
That's a
We
good
had a
point.
tour around the Abalone Farm.
Yeah.
Oh, you
in,
did.
What is it, Big Island Abalone?
Yeah, you did.
in Kona,
Good
and
for you.
There's this South African woman there who's
Yes,
really
yes,
fabulous.
Cecilia.
She's a scientist, yeah.
Yes.
And I said to her, I said, do you like abalone? You take some home and cook them up? But she said, no, they're my friends. I could never eat an abalone. I grow them. I give them life, but I wouldn't eat them.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
So, that's a great question, though, that people ask you. This is
Yeah,
good.
everybody's saying that I should have a million fish tank at my home,
No, enough.
It's just like once in a while you gotta walk away.
So what about the neighbor islands? You talk about walking reefs. You talk about looking at the natural ornamentals in the reef. It's not just Oahu, right?
Yes.
There's all kinds. Kona, for example, but there are other places too where it may be more pristine. It may be more in its natural state. Not that many. Are you also taking your aquatourism tourists over there too?
Not at the current, but as I know, I heard there's a seahorse farm. They opened
Yes.
up very, so
They do this aquatourism.
Yeah, they do. Yes, a very similar concept. And like some of the farms that they have that bio security issues,
Yes.
they may not want to do what I do, but for our practice it's a little bit different, so we can do, that's what we're trying to do.
So what about you've got to have best practices in terms of feeding and caring for these fish.
Correct.
Breeding them.
Yes.
Just
It's
generally.
called best aquaculture practice. You're very smart. Yes.
Yeah. And when we come back from this short break, we're going to talk about exactly what you have learned, what you have documented, what you have told Liz Xu, and what she has told other people. Okay, that's Richard Xie. He is Hawaiian Sea Life, and Liz Xu, my co-host. We're here on Agritech in Hawaii, and we're talking about aquatourism with ornamentals. We'll also ask you exactly what is an ornamental, because I think we have to define that for this discussion. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Seymour Kazimirski. I host a show called Seymour's World on ThinkTech Hawaii. What is it all about? It's about you. It's about your experiences, my experiences, how we live life together. I'd like you to be my guest, listening in on what we have to say about today's world. Please be my guest on Seymour's World at ThinkTech Hawaii.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Richard Xie.
Shit.
Xie. Like,
Thank you for
Xie,
trying.
Xie. Thank you.
Yes.
of Hawaiian Sea Life, and Liz Shue, my co-host here on Agritech in Hawaii, talking about aquatourism, and ornamentals. But I really would like to know what an ornamental is. I recall, when we were kids, I grew up in New York City. Everybody had a little tiny fish tank about that big. Nobody had a big one, little one. And we had little tiny ornamentals, and we had like a salt shaker. Shake the food in there. It usually lasted about a week. Something went wrong. Oh, we had a pump. Everybody had a pump.
Yes.
Pumping oxygen, whatnot.
Filter.
Yeah. So what is an ornamental? I mean, it's different now.
Well, it's still, considered, that's very similar concept. Like as long as it's not mammals, that's what we call ornamental. So I carry about 200 some species,
What's the smallest one?
Smallest one maybe half inch. That's the postlarvae we're talking about. That's about 1 cm. That's around that size.
Okay, the biggest one?
The biggest one maybe 5 feet.
5 feet.
Somewhere.
Can you talk to us about what is 5 feet big and how
No, we do that sometimes. Like let's say for example, like some sea life parks, some of the public aquarium they want sharks from us. Then we do that. The baby ones that we send to them. But it's all this industry is highly regulated. We have U.S. Fish and Wildlife daily modifying how many numbers we send out, and then we have states. We have the report. And
stay friendly with the state.
Yeah, definitely. We have to do that. Yeah. So we every beginning of the month from 1 to 10, we need to send out all the catching reports to the state database. So any of the divers that doesn't have the license that we cannot buy from them. There's a lot of
Divers have to have licenses,
yes, commercial license.
so they don't damage the reef or whatever it may be, and they stay within their catch limit and so
Yes.
forth. Gee, that's so interesting. So how do I get a diver's license? Maybe it's my next career.
Yeah, you just go to the state office and you can apply for it. But I think the
So when you say that it's heavily regulated,
yes,
usually things are heavily regulated because there were abuses back then.
yes,
And I'm just wondering what the process of all of that was. What were the abuses, and why did they lead to the regulation, and whether, I admire you for being in an area which is regulated, because it can be very burdensome sometimes, and it's hard to stay in business with all the regulation falling down on you. But anyway, what were the abuses? What's the regulation like? How do you cope with it?
Okay. So the industry, I think the booming of the industry is from the 80s, late 80s and the early 90s.
So everybody wanted to buy an ornamental.
Yes, by that time it's a very big. It's suddenly expanding to like all the Southeast Asia countries, and then a lot of bad practice in there. So they use cyanides, they use the cobars, like a lot of because by that time there's no regulations. So when you don't have regulations, there's always the market driven
Damage the reef.
When the buyers is asking, we want how many fish, and then suddenly there's all of you lose your mammals. Just doing what you want to do, and then I think like mid 90s, and so like people are more realized that if you keep going this way, you're gonna damage the whole world.
Not only the fish, but everything around the fish.
Yeah. So the last 15 years, not only Hawaii, globally, there's a lot of good practice. Even Philippines countries, Indonesia governments have a lot of regulations and how to modify this industry, and then to regulate.
So how does what's the intersection of all that regulation and your ability to do business? I mean, how burdensome? I know it's somewhat burdensome. It's got to be, but how burdensome is it?
Hawaii is not that bad, because from day one, when I came into this industry, we already know there's a lot of you know, they caught a couple guys before me, you know, like I think in the mid 90s, you know, we caught a couple guys and doing pretty bad, and then so the industry has been changing. I think right now is that the reason in the last 5-6 years I'm doing this is that I want to push the industry to go to aquaculture. So they do have a technology that's ready, because it's just like the market is not, you know, there's no funding in the state, in state or federal level.
When you say funding, you mean capital investment?
Capital investment, because you know, I think in the last 10-15 years, all the governments, not only U.S. governments and globally, and what they do is that, okay, how I can regulate it, how I can protect the reef. But after you're doing the regulations, the next step is that you encourage them the best practice. You know, so we have the post-larvae technologies. We already have a lot of technology breakthrough how to do the real aquaculture in the saltwater fish, you know, hatchery. But there's no funding to help. So what I'm thinking is that, you know, first having this aquatourism to help, you know, the industry, you know, have a very perspective, good side of the, you know, the image coming out. At the same time, that hopefully we can generate some fund that, you know, in the long run we can, you know, not only from the government. If government doesn't have money, then, you know, we can kind of have a group of people that can have the same visions that we come together to investors to do this.
But I mean, isn't there a natural limit on how many companies can be doing what you're doing? I mean, you've got a fairly robust operation. But if I said, well, let's have 50 companies the same, that would be a problem.
Well, definitely, you know, this is a free world. You know, you cannot say that I have a limit on something. But the thing is that the market saturated. You know, they only can allow so many companies survive.
They meaning the Department of Agriculture?
No, not
the
market.
The market for ornamental fish.
Yeah, the market. You know, like there's
only so many people are going to buy. So many
actually, in reality, is that the market of the marine ornamental is shrinking, because the new generation they don't raise fish. So like compare 15 years ago, the U.S. market, I can see there's at least 40% drop on sales.
Really?
Yes, that's a big difference.
Is this a sine curve sort of thing where it goes up and down?
I think the new generation is that they out of that. You know, we have too
urbanization and
machines. We have too many games.
Well, as you were saying before, but that's a great loss, isn't it? That they're focused on Twitter and social media and whatnot, instead of hands-on with the environment, touching, being proximate with the environment, you know, having animals around.
So, but it takes some time to, you know, like for me, I work with a feed company in Asia to develop 6 different sizes of the feed in order to do aquaculture. It's not easy, you know, like the smallest diameter is from 0.08 millimeter.
You mean the
tiny
diameter, the feed pellet?
The feed pellets.
Yeah.
So the feed pellets, they can kind of like flipping in the water, like acting like a plankton. So then the babies, they can go eat it. It's not that many companies that have, you know, willing to spend that much money
tech
to play with this.
And you have to, you don't want it to dissolve too quickly.
Yes.
Right? It has to stay there for a little until
so they can
the
kind of
fish
like
can see it and get it.
So it you know, I say I shouldn't say I'm a pioneer, but I'm, you know, pretty much gun ho and try to do what I can, you know, to help in.
That's great what you've done. You know, all out of a business plan competition. So I need to get some feedback from Liz. Liz, what do you think about this? Is this sustainable? Where does this fit in the larger picture of aquaculture in Hawaii?
Well, ornamental fish industry is always a big part of Hawaii's aquaculture industry to today still. Yes, it will be saturated with more people coming in, but I believe with more tourists coming into Hawaii, so the business still have a good chance to grow. So we hope Richard's experience give people inspiration to go into aquaculture. It doesn't have to be ornamental, it can be production. We need so much more seafood for future population
Yeah.
growth. So
The
there are
same
many
thing,
things you
yes.
can do in aquaculture industry, not just ornamental fish. So we encourage people to contact us to inquire about opportunities. We would be happy to assist them.
Okay,
Yeah.
well spoken.
Okay.
And Liz and Richard, what do you say we come down to your place and take a tour with a camera? Would you permit us to do that?
Definitely.
Okay,
You're more than
it's in the future. We got to do this.
Thanks.
And you can have somebody explain about the fish. That'd be great footage.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shu. This is good. Liz, this was a great discussion.
Okay.
We'll be back tomorrow Tuesday, with Seymour's World. In the meantime, aloha and Saijian and xie xie.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha.